It's 3 in the morning. The world outside is silent, but your mind is screaming. It's replaying a conversation from Tuesday, analyzing every word, every glance. It's rehearsing a meeting that won't happen until Friday, preparing for a dozen worst-case scenarios. It's a browser with 1,000 tabs open, all playing at once, and you can't find the one making all the noise. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. This is the frantic, exhausting state of overthinking. It's a loop that promises control, but delivers only anxiety. It promises solutions, but creates only more problems to solve. But what if the key to stopping the cycle wasn't just another quick tip or a simple hack? What if the key was to truly understand why it happens in the first place? In this video, we will not offer shallow advice. Instead, we will journey deep into the psychological roots of overthinking, guided by the timeless wisdom of the world's greatest philosophers, writers, and thinkers. We will explore 5 core reasons why our minds betray us into these endless cycles, and through their words, we will find the path back to clarity. Our journey begins with the most fundamental human desire, the desire for control. We want to know what will happen next. We want to guarantee success and avoid failure. And when we face the great, terrifying ocean of uncertainty, our mind builds a frantic little lifeboat called overthinking. It believes that if it can just think through every single possibility, every angle, every potential outcome, it can somehow steer fate in its favor. But this is a profound illusion. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood this better than anyone. The freed slave Epictetus offered a piece of wisdom that is arguably the master key to mental peace. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Think about that. The chief task in life. He is telling us that our primary job is to draw a line in the sand of reality. On one side, everything we cannot control: the traffic, the weather, what other people think of us, the outcome of a job application after we've sent it. On the other side, the things we can control: our effort, our responses, our integrity, our choices. The overthinker lives their life on the wrong side of that line. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal, echoed this sentiment. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Overthinking is the misapplication of our power. We turn the incredible force of our mind inward, creating fictional disasters instead of focusing its power on what we can actually influence: our next action. When you worry about a presentation, you cannot control the audience's reaction, but you can control how well you prepare. When you agonize over a past mistake, you cannot change what happened, but you can control what you learn from it. The fear of uncertainty is the fuel, and the illusion of control is the engine of overthinking. We run scenarios over and over, not because it's productive, but because it feels like we're doing something. It feels safer than simply accepting the terrifying truth that much of life is, and always will be, completely out of our hands. The first step to freedom is to accept this truth, to drop the rope in this impossible tug-of-war with reality.
If uncertainty about the future drives one kind of overthinking, then the unchangeable past drives another. This is the realm of rumination. It's not just remembering a mistake, it's placing that mistake under a microscope and staring at it for hours, days, or even years. It's the endless loop of what if and if only. If only I hadn't said that. What if I had taken that other job? Rumination feels like problem solving, but it's a trap. It offers no new information, no path forward. It is the act of getting stuck. The 19th century philosopher Søren Kierkegaard captured the paradox beautifully. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. The overthinker gets trapped in the first half of that quote. They are so busy trying to understand the past, to dissect it and reassemble it into a story that makes sense or absolves them of regret, that they forget the crucial second part. They must live forwards. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. Dwelling there, relitigating old decisions and hurts, is like trying to drive a car while looking only in the rearview mirror. You are guaranteed to crash. Eastern philosophy offers a powerful antidote to this affliction. The ancient Chinese sage Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching gave this profound advice. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Rumination is the very act of living in the past. It anchors our emotional state to events that are over and gone. We give power to ghosts. We allow yesterday's failures to dictate today's sense of self-worth. It is a form of self-punishment that serves no purpose. Letting go is not about forgetting. It's not about pretending the mistake didn't happen. It's about accepting that it did happen and that its power over your present moment is something you can choose to release. It is about understanding that every moment spent ruminating on what you can't change is a moment stolen from the life that is happening right now. It is, as the saying goes, letting the old baggage go so you have two free hands to greet the future. Now let's look at the other side of the coin, the future. While rumination chains us to the past, anxiety launches us into a future that doesn't exist. Specifically, it launches us into the worst possible version of that future. This is called catastrophizing. Your boss sends an email that says, "We need to talk." The overthinking mind doesn't say, "I wonder what that's about." It says, "I'm getting fired. I'll lose my house. My life is over." It takes a single, neutral event and builds an entire catastrophe around it. It's our brain's ancient survival mechanism, the part that was designed to watch for tigers in the grass running haywire in the modern world. Mark Twain is often credited with a quote that perfectly summarizes this state. Whether he said it or not, the wisdom holds. "I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened." This is the punchline of the overthinker's life. We suffer countless tragedies in our imagination. We experience the emotional and physiological stress of failure, rejection, and disaster without any of it actually occurring. We are living in a horror movie that we are both directing and starring in. Again, the Stoics offer a way out. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this stern but compassionate command: never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. This is a call for radical trust. Not trust that bad things won't happen, but trust in your own ability to handle them if they do. The catastrophizing mind believes it is unprepared. It thinks that by worrying, it is somehow getting ready. But what you are rehearsing is the feeling of panic, not the practice of resilience. The real weapon you have is your reason, your strength, your ability to adapt in the present moment. You don't need to solve a hypothetical future problem today. You only need to handle what is in front of you right now. As the French philosopher Montaigne wrote, "My life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened." Notice the pattern. The wisest minds across centuries came to the same conclusion. Our imagined futures are the source of most of our suffering. The antidote is to pull our attention back from the imaginary cliff's edge and plant our feet firmly on the ground of the present. Ask yourself, what is actually wrong in this exact moment? Not in 5 minutes, not tomorrow, right now. Usually, the answer is nothing. There is another, more insidious driver of overthinking. It disguises itself as a virtue. It masquerades as a commitment to excellence. It is called perfectionism. The perfectionist is terrified of making a mistake, of being judged, of producing something that is flawed. And so, to avoid that risk, they get stuck in the planning stage. They research endlessly. They make lists of lists. They tweak the first sentence of an email for an hour. This is analysis paralysis. It's not a quest for quality, it's a fear of action. The French writer and philosopher Voltaire saw this trap over 200 years ago, stating succinctly, "The best is the enemy of the good." This is the perfectionist's curse. In their quest for the flawless, mythical best outcome, they fail to produce a good one. They don't launch the business. They don't apply for the job. They don't write the book. Overthinking becomes the perfect excuse. It feels productive, it feels responsible, but it is ultimately a highbrow form of procrastination rooted in fear. Author Anne Lamott puts it even more bluntly in her book on writing, Bird by Bird. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life. The desire for perfection is often tied to our self-worth. We believe if I produce a perfect result, then I am worthy. If my work is flawed, then I am flawed. This is a dangerous equation. It makes every task a referendum on our value as a human being. No wonder we're terrified to act. The way to break free is to embrace the concept of good enough. It's not about being sloppy or lazy. It's about understanding that action and iteration are far more valuable than endless static planning. It's about shipping the product, sending the email, having the conversation, and then improving based on real-world feedback, not on imaginary fears. It's giving yourself permission to be human and to be a work in progress. We have explored the roots of overthinking. Our craving for control, our entanglement with the past, our fear of the future, and the paralysis of perfectionism. Understanding the why is crucial, but wisdom is not complete until it is applied. So how do we move forward? This final chapter is not another reason, but a collection of actionable wisdom to light the path out of the maze. First, we must learn to observe our thoughts without becoming them. This is the practice of mindfulness. It's not about emptying your mind, but about changing your relationship with what's in it. Jon Kabat-Zinn, a founder of the modern mindfulness movement, says, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." The thoughts will come, the worries, the regrets, the fears. They are the waves. Overthinking is being tumbled and tossed around by them, drowning in the churn. Mindfulness is learning to get on the surfboard. You see the thought, you acknowledge it. Ah, there's the worry about tomorrow's meeting. And you let it pass by without letting it pull you under. You are the observer, not the victim of your mind. Second, we must recognize that action is the greatest antidote to overthinking. The mind gets stuck in abstract loops, but the body can only exist in the present moment. Taking a small physical step breaks the spell. President Theodore Roosevelt was a man of action, and his philosophy is captured in a famous speech. It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. To stop overthinking, get in the arena. Don't just think about going to the gym, put on your shoes. Don't just worry about a difficult conversation, write down the first sentence you want to say. Action creates momentum. It generates new information that your mind can't possibly predict from its isolated chamber. An inch of movement is worth a mile of thought. Finally, we must practice self-compassion. You will fall back into old patterns. There will be nights where your mind runs wild. The perfectionist voice inside you will call this a failure, but it's not. It's part of the process. Dr. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, advises, self-compassion is treating yourself with the same kindness and care you'd give to a good friend. When a friend is overthinking, you don't berate them. You listen, you offer support, and you gently guide them back to reality. We must learn to become this good friend to ourselves. Acknowledge the struggle, soothe the anxiety, and gently encourage a return to the present. We began this journey in the dead of night, trapped in a mind at war with itself. We have walked through the illusions of control, the ghosts of the past, the phantoms of the future, and the prison of perfectionism. We have learned that the goal is not a silent mind, but a peaceful one. It is not the absence of thought, but the refusal to let thought have absolute power. The wisdom of the ages doesn't offer a magic cure, but it does offer a compass. It points us away from the tangled forests of what if and toward the open field of what is. To end, let us carry with us a final thought from the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Your mind is the water. The overthinking is the stirred-up mud. You cannot force it to be clear. But you can choose to stop stirring. You can choose to be still. And with patience, the clarity you seek will emerge all on its own.